-30. I live in Finland. It's a land of 1,000 lakes, wolves, bears, and it can get a bit nippy over winter. Now, one icy cold January morning, I decided to walk to work. The temperature outside was a rather cool -30 degrees C. I thought, what's the worst that could happen? I'm well dressed for the weather. I might get a bit uncomfortable, but that'd be about it. So I set off. And yes, it was cold. By the time I got to the village, it was about -33. Normally, I would go into the supermarket on my way to work and get some snap. But this morning, I didn't bother. I felt fine, just kept walking. About 30 minutes into my walk, I got to the bridge on the road out of the village, so call it about halfway. But it was here that I realised I was having some difficulties. I was having problems catching my breath. Now, I never have had asthma, but I'm betting it feels like what I was suffering that morning. I think the cold was shutting down my alveoli in my lungs, or maybe I was just so cold my blood wasn't picking up the oxygen as effectively as it should. Whatever it was a problem. Anyway, I was halfway, so should I go back to the village or press on? I decided to press on. Now, what I had forgotten was that there are 2 hills that I had to deal with, and it would also be the most isolated part of my journey. But to be fair, I didn't have much choice. I did have to get to work. So I walked on. Now, the first hill nearly killed me. I got to the top and I was completely out of breath. I had no way to recover. Stopping and trying to force air into my body would not work. I was just too cold, and it would probably have been suicide to even try. All I could do was walk on. At least it was downhill. Well, until the next hill, of course. But on I went, and all the while I'm thinking, if I slip on this ice, I won't be ever getting up ever again, and there's no one round to help. What a bloody lonely feeling that was. But I had no choice. I had to keep going, march or die sort of thing. At a place, which in summer is the prettiest part of the walk, under some very old pine trees, I saw what I took to be the spirit of the cold, or maybe winter, and it was lying right on the path in front of me, looking like the Egyptian Sphinx or one of them Babylonian Lamassu thingies. Very big, maybe 10 metres tall, and maybe 80 metres long, and there I was walking between its legs. And I'm not sure, but I had the feeling it was kind of aware of me, in a distant, disinterested, but not unkind sort of way. All I could do was walk on, head down, watching my feet, and about all my brain could manage was to keep repeating, underneath the spreading chestnut tree, in time to my footfalls. Eventually, the lights of my work appeared, and then I was indoors, warm. My guess is I really was dying. I had just pushed myself far beyond any safe limits. 10 minutes more, and that would have been it. As for my vision, well, based on some reading I've done since, I think that because of the extreme physical distress I was under, it caused me to have some kind of spontaneous shamanic initiation, or an SSI if you like. Whatever it was, it felt very real at the time. The Finns I've told about this call me all kinds of fool for putting myself into that kind of danger, and that they would never have exposed themselves to that depth of cold for that long. In my case, call it about an hour. And when I told one guy about this, he told me, no, he hadn't been in any situation like that. And he said, you'd probably need an Englishman to do something that dumb. And I thought, well, that might be true, but at least now I'm on nodding terms with the spirit of winter. The end.